Okay. If everybody could wave to the audience. Matt? Matt? Dan, can you turn your camera on? Could you wave to the audience, Matt? Thanks. Okay, here's my ID. And here's my note card. Okay. Just this year in Florida, 10 people were arrested for the use of a gill net while fishing. When investigated, it was found that the net used killed hundreds of marine species, many of which were untargeted and protected. While the use of gill nets is illegal in Florida, due to the amount of harm they cause marine life, gill nets and other equally harmful fishing methods are legal and widely used throughout the world today. If just one gill net was able to cause the death of so many protected species, imagine the devastating impact that commercial fisheries could have when using these types of fishing gears. According to Oceana.org, just in the United States alone, an estimated 2 billion pounds of fish caught are discarded every year due to being unintentionally caught. These fish are victims of unselective fishing methods that cause bycatch or the capture of non-targeted species. Today, I will be explaining to you the problem of bycatch and how our oceans will be affected if we continue to purchase unsustainably sourced seafood. By understanding how you can reduce the effects of bycatch, you will be able to contribute towards saving the lives of some marine animals and improving the health of our oceans. I currently study marine science at the University of Florida, and I have learned the harmful effects of bycatch and through many hours of research, some solutions to prevent it. If you go to the first slide, you will see an overview of what will be discussed today. First, I will explain the problem with bycatch. Then I will give you a solution to help minimize the harmful effects. And third, I will help you visualize the importance of the solution. I will now go on to explaining the problem of bycatch. The problem is that whenever fishing is done, either commercially or recreationally, bycatch occurs. Fishing gear today, with new advancements in fishing gear technology designed to harvest the maximum amount of fish, protected species such as whales, sharks, and dolphins are paying the price with their lives. With that being said, not all fishing gears are created equally. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the types of fishing gear that are the least selective and result in the most bycatch are trawls, long lines, and gill nets. If you go to the second slide, you will see a picture of these gears. These gears are called ghost gears because they are virtually impossible to see in the water and capture anything that comes in its path. As you can see, the turtle and shark entangled were not the target species and ended up being discarded. In a peer-reviewed article published in 2010 entitled Global Patterns of Marine Turtle Bycatch by Brian Wallace and other supporting authors, fisheries bycatch was reported to be the primary driver of population decline in marine species such as whales, sharks, seabirds, and sea turtles. In 2000, 220,000 loggerhead sea turtles were killed as a result of bycatch. If the issue of bycatch is ignored, it will continue to lead to the deaths of millions of marine animals, many of which are already threatened to be extinct. You have now learned the issue of bycatch, but there is still time to minimize the harmful effects. One solution to minimize bycatch is to understand where the fish you're buying and how it is caught. As I said before, not all fishing methods are created equally. Some fishing gears can be modified with devices that allow non-targeted species to escape. For example, turtle excluder devices, or TEDs, allow larger marine organisms like sharks and sea turtles to escape from trawl nets. When you're purchasing seafood, doing research or looking for an eco-label that informs you on how the fish is caught can help you contribute toward the prevention of bycatch. Eco-labels are labels placed on products that identify sustainably sourced seafood. If you go to the next slide, you will see an example of some of these eco-labels. Foodprint.org, an organization that helps people make sustainable food choices, advocates that choosing fish caught by sustainable fishing gear can help protect wild fish populations. In a peer-reviewed article titled "The Psychology of Sustainable Seafood Consumption" by Isabel Richter, the increased purchase of labeled seafood products by consumers leads the fishing and farming industries to be encouraged to achieve certification standards. While you may be concerned about the validity of some eco-labels, research has shown that sometimes eco-labels do not actually prove whether seafood is sustainable or not. To avoid this issue, it is always a good idea to do your own research, either on the label itself or on the fish. You may think that doing your own research is time-consuming, but there's so much information available online, and it is as easy as searching in the name onto Google. Now that you have learned how much of an impact you can make by just researching the seafood you're buying, I want you to picture a future where everybody continued to buy seafood caught by unselected fishing gear. The oceans as we know today would be gone forever. Millions of marine animals would be pushed into extinction, and the abundance of fish in our ocean would decline rapidly. In 2020, the Food and Agriculture Organization reported that 3.3 billion people relied on fish as a source of protein. If we do nothing to prevent bycatch, then we will be unable to experience a healthy ocean like we can today, and many people will be left without a major source of food. As a scuba diver, I have heard many stories detailing the harmful effects of unselected fishing gear. Once, a friend told me about how when she was diving, she came across an abandoned gill net that smothered a coral reef and was impossible to remove. This gear is called ghost gear because it is abandoned or lost. Ghost gear is extremely harmful and is recognized as the most deadliest form of marine plastic grease today because it indiscriminately catches marine species for years, even when it is not actively being used. If we do not take action and continue to buy unsustainable seafood, stories like this will only continue to increase. Now that you have imagined the impacts of buying unsustainable seafood, I want you to think about this the next time that you're in a restaurant or a market or a grocery store buying fish. Think about how taking a small amount of time to research the food you're buying can help save some marine animal lives. If you go to the next slide, I have provided a link to the Seafood Watch app that will instruct you on how to find sustainably sourced food. All you have to do is click the link, download the app, and then the next time you're buying seafood, you can search the name and it will tell you how to buy it sustainably. Throughout this speech, I have covered the problem of bycatch, how we can minimize the harmful effects, and how the future of our ocean depends on sustainably sourced seafood. Studying marine science, and as a diver, I have firsthand experienced the beauty of the ocean, and I am extremely passionate about helping to protect it and the marine organisms that desperately need our help. For us, researching seafood only takes a few seconds, but these few seconds could mean a lifetime to some marine organisms. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
What exactly is a gill net and why is it so bad and hard to escape from?
Sorry, I can turn my volume up. So a gill net is like a large mesh net that captures fish by their gills. So it entangles them and it's not selective whatsoever. So say you're trying to catch tuna, a shark could still be caught in it. And then usually they're left in the water for a long amount of time. So even if there's an animal that you're not trying to catch that gets captured in it, you're not going to know to be able to save it.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So I don't really like to eat fish. I find it gross. Do I get to feel morally exempt from this issue, or is it used in like feed for other animals that I should be sort of aware of or cautious of?
Well, sometimes some fish are used in feed for other animals. This might require more research on your part, like if you're buying a chicken product to see where it comes from. But also, even if you don't buy fish, you could let someone else know about this information who does buy fish and kind of spread the issue around.
I have a question.
Yes?
So with these companies and the eco labels, doesn't the company have to have some sort of proof in order to get that label on their product?
Yes, they do have to have some sort of oversight to get the label, but a lot of times these companies can be paid off. Like they'll either pay off a fisheries observer to lie about what they're seeing, or they can just pay to have a sustainable label placed that might not actually mean anything.
So the lesson is like, just do your own research and make sure. And then once you find a good label or a good brand, then you just keep buying that one.
Yes, it's always a good idea to do your own research. And like I said, the app that I provided, it includes so many different species and then just a
Downloading the
second
app right now.
instructions on how to buy it.
I'm going to download that.
Any other questions?
Yeah. What is the, you might have said it, but what is the deadliest of those nets that causes bycatch? Like, which one should we target first if we're going after people that use them?
So they're all pretty deadly, but especially the gill nets, because they're huge nets that entangle a lot of creatures and they're left in the water for such a long amount of time. Whereas something like a trawl, it does destroy pretty much everything in its path when it's being pulled by a boat, but it's not just left in the water to be there forever. So I would say probably the gill nets are one of the most destructive methods. All right, any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.